Only one?
Yeah, there is only
The
one.
short one? That's not good. You're gonna have to make it longer.
Yeah, we'll make it longer.
Speak about like wine or something. Let's get look. Honest.
Lisa. Oh, morning, Rabbi.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
You hear me? Oh, okay. Okay, very good. Just want to let you know, I'm on listening. Yeah. Sorry I can't be there. I had a late night shift, Rabbi, just letting you know. So you know, I'm still gonna listen via Zoom.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Try to
Yep.
mute
I'll come
yourself.
mute right now. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Yep, yep.
So you hear?
Let's go. Yeah.
Okay. Baruch atah Eloheinu v'chadnu sha'akom v'vorich. And just before we start, just something interesting. I was looking at the tshuva of Chasam Sofer, and it was a story that Shkoch Bal Tefillah. Someone was in jail. When he came out of jail, so and the Bezin heard a Kolle de Posik that his wife was Mazana and had a mamzit. So he can't really be back with his wife. So the Bezin told him about it. And he said, okay, you know what, he's gonna convert to Christianity and he'll move over to the next town. So they asked us some Sofer. The short answer to some Sofer is, you know, people like to threaten and people like to exaggerate. So you know, you got to do what you got to do. But in the tshuva, there was an interesting line. Look on page Taf Lamed Beis, in the first column. The last three lines. It says a fascinating story. He said what happened was in Italy there was a Kohen. He wanted to marry a grusha. So the Rav said, "No, sorry, you're a Kohen. You can't marry a grusha." So he was influential and he had connections with the government. So he went to the government. He said the Jews hadrein akop. It says in the parsha, "Isha grushim isha lo yukochu." Why? Because it's not the kohenim are the people, the big people. And this woman was chased out of a man's house. So she's a gornish. Now this it's not the covet for the Eibishter that the kohenim should marry such a woman. Now this woman, the Bezdin forced because she said he was whatever mistama, he was there was a mum, he couldn't perform as a man. So the Bezdin forced him to give a get. So it wasn't Isha Grusha mi Isha. It wasn't Isha Grusha mi Isha. So and the rabbis make up things all the time, you know. They don't go with the Bible.
The Bezdin forced the man to give her
the first husband to give a get.
Right.
So he said it wasn't Isha Grusha mi Isha. It wasn't a woman that the husband divorced her. She divorced herself because Bezdin forced him. And the Jews in the Talmud, you know, they make up things. It's not written in the Bible. So the Notzim are very happy to hear such kindness. It's not written in the Bible. It's so cute the way he writes. I wanted to just read it side. So he said it came to the king, and there was a Chochem Echad in Vienna, and he writes he was Taka, and but he did a good thing. He realized that this is going to be a Chilul Hashem, and he was a Korev Lamalchus, and so he said, "Look, Monashach," he said, if you want to go bedin Toiram, let's read it inside. No?
You don't want to listen.
Yeah. No. He had a very cute twist of it. Let's read it. The last two lines of Taf Lamed Beis. Sapra k'moizeh kama shanim she'ovres ab Eretz Italia. Gvira ashira eakas nisas le'echa chekef nes lo'itz el tevis ha'isha. Mach mas mumim nu potra. that it was Otovis Isha, the guy, whatever. He had mumim. Sounds like it was something. Maybe he was. This rich woman wanted to marry a Kohen. They said you can't marry a grusha. Hamalucha lesore hamalucha malubadaim. Achabar dov lesore hagedolim hayoshin rishona b'malchus Kunstutarium Vienna. It came to the Senate, I guess, in the whatever organization of government they had that time in Vienna. V'nosa nekolam alomadim v'tzot b'neim tainas hakoyim ba'omre kadas noisen isha grushim isha hi bizoin l'koyim mekudeshes l'Hashem. Ploni yitziyah mebeisev hu yisiena, aval isha shehi girshes baila ein ze bizoin l'koyim. You heard? It's let's honest, but Mashinim shebishas upoiskim neged zam tzos v'chumras chachamim she'ein roi l'shmoilam b'zeh. The rabbis made it up. The rabbis made it up. It says in the pasuk, "V'isha gurusha isha." If their husband kicked her out, she kicked him out. So I'm allowed to marry her. The Torah only said the Kohen can't marry a grusha if her husband kicked her out, but she's still living in her fancy villa. She kicked the first guy out. So I'm allowed to marry her. So then
the Kohen is allowed to marry her because the original husband did not
divorce. She divorced him.
How could that be? Because the
Bezdin forced
to give a get.
Because Bezdin forced him to give a get.
So basically, if he wasn't 100% with the system, it means that he didn't do it.
Yeah,
that's what it meant to say.
So the king had to be I skipped the line. The rule was the king. It was something. It was it will override. The Jews had the right to practice their religion. So the king said, we're not going to take one of the rabbis because the rabbis are fadreit. Let's get someone else. You can see that Chasam Sofer doesn't like that guy. He was a philosopher. But he was a Jew. He was a Jew. You can see Chasam Sofer doesn't like this guy. He says he's a Jew and but I must say he did something good. He said, he came beinav. The guy said a very smart thing. He said, he said, if you read the Bible, a woman never divorces her husband. The husband kicks her out of the house. He doesn't like her, and then he kicks her out of his house. They say that she doesn't like him. This thing, it doesn't work. In the Bible, if he wants, he kicks her out of his house. If he doesn't want, he doesn't kick. A woman never gets out of his clutches unless he kicks her out of his house. And Elamai, the rabbis decided that that we force him to give a get sometimes. He said, now if they're relying on the rabbis, they're also for them to marry. He was not a religious Jew. He was an Hungarian philosopher, but given good fadreit. Et fadreit tzadik as a good. He said, look, if you look at the Bible, this woman never got divorced from her first husband. If you don't believe in the rabbis, he didn't willingly give her a get. The Torah says, so really she's still a Eishes Ish. She's married. If you don't look at the rabbis, you're looking at the Bible, this woman right now is an Eishes Ish. she's married.
According to the opinion of the
Yeah, if you're looking at the Bible, forget the rabbis and the Talmud. This woman is a married woman. How could you allow her to get married to a second woman allowed to be married to two men? The Goyim verstehen das, that a woman can't be married to two men. So if you ignore the rabbis, so this woman is a married woman because the get is an invalid get because the rabbi said, but if you're looking at the rabbi said that she can't marry once she's divorced, she can't marry a Kohen. So what are you looking at? You're looking at the rabbis, she's also to get divorced. She's also to get married. If you're looking at the Bible, she's still married to the first man. So he says, "V'yoshu dvarav be'ena akesa yorim hoide v'asorim v'loy nisas l'koyim v'loy nischalalu." And the king was happy. He said, "You're right. You're right." And the Chasam Sofer says that Zocher oisei ish l'toiv, even though he was Nabach Yid that went off the way of the derech, but the fourth he had he was like we see a lot of times Yidden that they're not mumarim lahachis. Usually it's mumel tayova, ever so. But he realized it would be a big chil Hashem, such a thing. So he came up with a brilliant answer. Okay, time is short. I wanted to talk about a shaila that someone asked me. Someone asked me on Friday morning, Azoy. He missed Kiddush Levanah. The last time for Kiddush Levanah would have been Thursday night. He missed Kiddush Levanah. Sashkocha protest. Just now there was a trip to the moon, and they didn't land on the moon, but they explored the other side of the moon, and they said several things, whatever. But one of the nyonim is that they saw, just like we see the light from the sun reflected on the moon, they didn't see the light of the sun reflected on the moon, but they saw the light of the sun reflecting back to them from planet Earth. From planet Earth. So I was thinking, could they say Kiddush Levanah? Because they saw because because Kiddush Levanah is something that Chazal understood. There's something special. The Kabel Pnei Shechina. There's something Yisrael Moinim Levanah, Daimlim Levanah. It's not just on the light of the sun. It's the light of the sun, the way it reflects off the moon, Dafka. The moon has a certain mahalach, which is a complicated mahalach, which is negated. That's the whole Rambam Kiddush HaKodesh. It's a very complicated mahalach. Shemesh Yodem Evoy, Yoreach Lo Yodem Evoy. The Rambam says that it's very easy to figure out the mahalach of the sun. The moon is complicated, and that's why the Jewish calendar is complicated. It's a synthesis of the sun and the moon, but it's nishkein gelech. It's not just
Sanhedrin. Go learn.
Yes, exactly. So, but the shaila here really has three parts. The shaila the person asked me has really three parts. There's a geshmak Chasam Sofer about this. Number one is about saying the bracha after the zman. So the Shulchan Aruch says, the Mechaber says that you say it until the 15th of the month. And the Ramos says, no, you take the month, which is 12 days, 29 days, 12 hours, and Tashat Tzag, and you slice it in half, and that the half minute, that's the last moment to say Kiddush Levanah, because you're saying the Levanah as the Levanah is growing. Once the Levanah starts to get smaller, that's not Leroya Levanah Bechidusha. You're making a bracha as the Levanah is getting bigger and bigger, right, not as it's getting smaller and smaller. Once the cycle of the moon is 29 days, 12 hours, and Tashat Tzag Chalokim. So
half of that 29 days.
Yeah, you slice it in half, and the first half of that of that pie is when you say Kiddush Levanah. It's very complicated. Like how do because we do the Lamoilot from Eretz Yisrael. So what? So how do we do, how do calendars calculate? You're supposed to calculate like Eretz Yisrael and just give the 7 hours or 6 hours of difference over here in Israel. I think that's what calendars do today. But that's a separate issue.
It sounds like
Exactly. The Moilad is Emtsoi. There's so many issues. The reason I'm throwing a little bit of sand here is because I want to stretch the time. I want to stretch that, so I'm starting to throw a little bit of sand. Say it's like very hard to know what Chazal meant, what the real Zman is. So number one, can we stretch the Zman to make it more time? I want to say more time. And there's a beautiful Abavusta tshuva from the Chasam Sofer about this. Bavust, whatever. Yeah, when you're in the sugya, it's a
More time
to give a little more
Say the
time.
bracha.
Yeah, basically, Chasam Sofer gives an extra 18 hours. We'll read it inside in a minute. He says whenever the calendar tells you is the last time, you have another 18 hours. Why? He has he has a simple cheshbon. He says that the Gemara says in Rosh Hashanah it takes about 18 hours from when the Moilad Halavon until the average person could see it with his eye. It takes 18 hours from the birth of the new moon until the eye catches it. So he says the main thing is that you're not making the bracha. It's not when you're making the bracha while it's growing. It's that you're not making the bracha as it's declining. And the eye doesn't catch the decline until 18 hours after it got to its peak. So therefore, another 18 hours you got. That's a Chasam Sofer.
But it's not the same thing from 0 to something and to something to more something.
He says Kal v'chomer. I don't know. That's one thing I want to talk about, how long you could stretch. Then there's another discussion about saying it B'leil Shabbos. The Shulchan Aruch doesn't talk about it. The Shulchan Aruch says that it's good to say it Motzei Shabbos, the Kiddush Levanah, if you could, because Api Kabbalah and Kabbalah's Bnei Shechin and Api Nigla, it's because a person's mevusam. After Shabbos, a person is calm, person's relaxed, he had a Shabbos nap, he's wearing big day Shabbos, Shingahat Shalashudas. And this is like
That was before the cigarettes.
so that's a pinigla. But Kabbalah, there's a lot of time in, and so you shouldn't say it if Matzah Shabbos and Yom Tov. Shulchan Aruch says not. The Minhag Maril says not to say it. But what? So what's the reason? So Kappa Chaim says it's shvacha reasons. Not everyone agrees with it because you makabel pnei Shechina. And there's tchumen lamata masara, lamayla masara, or maybe it's a tchina, and that it's not stamad the tefillah. It's also like saying tachanun on Shabbos, on Yom Tov, all kinds of reasons. On Shabbos, you could say there's another reason that you shouldn't really do Kiddush Levanah, because a person might take Chatzah Shalom Siddur and walk out in the Rishon Sarab.
It was an Arab.
And even if there's an Erev in the city, so similar to the thing about the minig of not to do tashlich on Rosh Hashanah if it's on Shabbos. There's a famous sikh in the Rebbe where the Rebbe asked, who gives us the right to make? We don't have the right to make Shem Yaver Dal Damas Sharabim. Abai Rebbe could say such things. Me and you have to chsim Shas Kanda. The Rebbe's big chiddush then was, me and you can't say Shema, but if for sure you see Yidden are doing Chatz Shalom, see something, say something. If we can't make a gzera, maybe, but if we see things, so you got to do something about it. So
Give us an example.
that was this thing with going to the Tashlech, that the community saw that Tashlech people, when it's on Shabbos, that accidentally people were walking out with a siddur. So they made a takona that in Rosh Hashanah and Shabbos you shouldn't do it on that day, the Tashlech. You do it the other day. So even though we don't have the right to make takonas really, but the Rebbe's thought chiddush was that's when if you're sitting in the Beis Medrash and you're thinking maybe there'll be a takola, but if you see that people are being Michal Shabbos accidentally, you have the right to say something, to do something about it.
After sure.
Okay.
Somebody should.
Okay. So
But not because of the same reason that the Chachamim said in those years that you're not allowed to do the new Hanesek and whatever. Yeah, it's because of the
because we see it now. Okay. Second shayla. Third shayla is there's a famous thing that is from the Chasam Sofer. Oh, beautiful! I love this one. The Chasam Sofer says that the person never couldn't be in Kiddush Levanah. It was cloudy, and now so the seed Levanah is after this man. You should open up a Gemara and had enough members. This is a Heimische trick. It's a Heimische trick. So because I'm giving the shir, I went onto my Tzachach and I did a search, and did I find stuff? You find a story. They came to there was a story with a marriage. It was fakis about the Sheva Brokas, and the fact it was in Yerushalayim. Things are hush hush. There was a second marriage for one of them or something, and so they asked if Shlomo Zalman Auerbach what to do. So he said that by the Sheva Brachos they shouldn't give it out. They should have one Talmud Chochem to say all the Shah Choshev Talmud Chochem, and he should quietly say, Zog the Gemara in Ksuvas, Dav Zayin Amid Aleph, als wenn a Freu hat Chassan, darf man sagen, Shiva Brei. Say quietly, no one should hear. Zog the Gemara in Ksuvas, when a woman gets married, you have to say seven brachas. What are the seven brachas? Zog the Heilige Gemara. Then he should pick up the cup. Baruch Ato Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, yoitzer Adam.
You mean the brothers in the Gemara?
The Gemara.
You could say with the name of Hashem because he's teaching.
Yeah, another. It's Gevera Bais in Yerushalayim. A young couple got married, and they had a miscarriage. They didn't want to tell the parents-in-law. There's a lot of Yerushalayim, the pressure, and the parents-in-law involved. They went to the Rav, and the Rav said, "Take it. So you don't have to tell them everything." Good. Auf the Eibishter. As a boy, father-in-law was so excited before they knew it. He booked the hall in a Bais Medrash for Pidyon Ben.
But it was a miscarriage.
No, it was a miscarriage, but he didn't know. Now she had a baby boy.
And they thought
There was a miscarriage. Then they had a baby boy.
9 months later.
Yeah, 9 months later.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh,
The father-in-law and the mother-in-law don't know there was a miscarriage.
it wasn't.
And first one was.
They didn't know that there was a miscarriage. But they see there's a baby.
Okay.
So they booked the hall for Pidyon Ben.
No Pidyon Ben.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Right, no problem. Right.
So they came to Rav Yudlevitz. We spoke about him. He wrote this Shmal Ba'alocha. So he said, "Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Just when you're right before the Pidyon Ben, you should have a copy of the Gemara Psach in the last page. Zog the Gemara Sholo bevei b'drosh b'Pidyon Ben avi pshitelu avi ben mevorach shtayim." Say that quietly, and then you say Baruch Ato Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam Hashem kedushonim v'mitzvosav v'tzivonu al Pidyon Ben. But because you're reading in the Gemara. You're reading the Gemara, and then giving the 5 sloim to the Kohen and the party, and making hamoitzi and bichas hamazon and body priyagof, and everything is kosher.
If she comes, they're going to give them the funeral. They can't really time.
So there's these are the two of the juiciest stories that there was a story. There was a lomdus taka. There was a yid came to the Avnei Neiser and said that he can't eat mortar. They didn't have romaine lettuce, and he had a problem with his digestive system. If he eats mortar, Rachmana litzlan, it's sakonis nefoshes. He can't, kazais mortar.
It's real
They
stuff.
not like us. Most of us, I know what Chabad. We do both. It's an Inyan Api Kabbalah also to do both. So you don't have to do a whole. The Rebbe used to do a whole kazayas from both. Kazayas from horseradish and a kazayas that my father always describes. Because my father was there to me, the Rebbe used to like put in his hand like this, and he used to put it in the lettuce. And taka, the Rebbe used to have a whole kazayas of mortar. So, huh?
And red face.
He also took little pieces. But this Yid couldn't. So he asked Avnei Neiser. So Avnei Neiser had a whole pilpul that they say chatzashir is this a chatzashir by a mitzvah. And his thing is, listen, if you could take a crumb of a mortar, take a crumb of the mortar. He had a whole pilpul. Maybe there's man based on mikdash yoyakayim anyway. Well, according to Hillel, they eat Pesach matzah mortar. Who said they had one kazayis and a second and a third? Maybe the tziruf of because it was one mitzvah, a whole tshuva. And then he says,
Rav, because this is the Rabbanan, Rav is allowed to say you need to do too much, or Rav cannot change it.
and listen, this was a chelik of the discussion.
Okay.
But the problem was the broch. The problem was, how do you make a broch? So he had something at the Ramah and Simches. The reason I'm bringing it in, because the Ramah's yard set is unlike Ba'omer, about if a person, there's a whole shaila about the tzitzis who make a bracha, or does it need to have shir ituf or not? Because the bracha is lisat of the tzitzis. There are opinions that hold that that's not just the nusach of the bracha. There has to be shir ituf. The talus is to be enough that you could wrap yourself around. Katifas am Yishmael. But a talus cotton, it's impossible. Most of us, and some of us do. By now, already today, they're making big talasim. If you take like this, size 26, 28,
You don't have to, there's no chiyuv to do.
Okay, so that's the question. We
Yeah, but
Lepoil,
they have to get to
we
that
paskin that opinion Lamaisa, we paskin that opinion is wrong, and that it's only the nusach of the bracha. And Lepoil, that's the way Yidden used to do it. But the essentially, if you aim by kedayit, is also kosher, and you can make the bracha. But in the shakataya, that Amos says, he's trying to do the mitzvah. What do you want from the Yidden? He doesn't have a talus that's so big. Give him a break. He's making a bracha sheket the son of a mitzvah of tzivonu for the mitzvah of tzitzis, even though right now I'm not doing it kitikuna. It's a very interesting. So he
But,
says,
I mean, how can you give it twice? It's a bracha levatala if you do it the second time.
L'choira. So, but anyway, the bottom line is at the end, he said the Avnei Neiser that he should open up the Rambam or the Gemara. He should open up the Rambam in Hilchas Chometz Matzah. And he should start reading that halacha. And he should read the halacha from the Rambam and say, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam. And some people have a pushback to this eitzah, and they say, there's a Beferish Mogen Avram, it's Simon Reish Tezvav, that says that when you learn the brachas in the Shas, you're not allowed to say Hashem's name. It's also to say Hashem's name. It's Shem Shemayim Levatol. Let's do it last week's parsha. It's a terrible thing.
That counted as learning.
Torah Shabbat When you learn a Mishnah. Why? Because you're saying a bracha. And he brings his raya is because the Gemara in the last Perek in brachas, when it says all the brachas, it doesn't say Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu. Roya mokim shenekemen oimer roya this. It doesn't say Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam. So the Ivitz, it says my father.
in order to give this chance to the people.
Back and forth. The Chacham says, Baba Maisis. The Gemara doesn't want to. The Gemara didn't have the button of cut and paste in the computer, and to say Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam. You know how to say a bracha. Just the three words that you don't know. The Gemara says. Back and forth. It's a machlokes. Helft Eibishter. I'm sitting in last night. I'm looking at this Helft Eibishter, and I realized that the Alter Rebbe has an opinion on this. Friday night in the davening, it says after Kigavna that if you daven be yechidus, if you're not davening with a minyan, you say the whole zoyar,
Right.
and then you say, at the end of the zoyar, you say it's part of the zoyar. You say Baruch Hashem Avoidach Lo'olam Void
With Hashem's real name.
with Hashem's real name. And the Rebbe told Reb Nissen Emenov that this applies even according to Chabad, the way the style of Chabad was Friday night to daven for many, many hours. Today, we're doing Miftzayim, if to invite Yidden, whatever the excuses is, we don't do it today. But they used to daven, Kipshutei, 3 hours, 4 hours. The style was he came to shul, and they heard Kaddish, Kedusha, Baruch Hu, everything, and then they maybe even had to say the Nigunim, and then everyone went to his own corner and davened for many hours. The Rebbe said still, even though you already heard Baruch Hu, you should say Baruch Hu the way the Alter Rebbe says. The Nissen Emen have said from this line in the Siddur is mashma that Friday night you're supposed to daven be yechidus. Because why would the Alter Rebbe say if you daven be yechidus Friday night? It's probably not that he really wanted that the average Lubavitcher Friday night should daven for 2-3 hours. And
You daven a minyan, then daven afterward be yechidus.
yeah, that's what he's saying. Anyway, but the see is
Tell me if it's true. Someone told me if the minion is faster than you, and you get to that part after you work with it, you also have to say it.
that you have to say what?
The Lord Baruch and
Right, that's what that is mashma from what the Rebbe
even
told.
if you are with the minion, just that the minion was ahead of you. Somebody told me.
I don't know. A little bit mashma away from the story from this and them.
What did they say for 3 hours afterwards? You mean look.
Mit vermachte Augen and mit getanzt. I don't know.
You don't see this.
Yeah, but-
Think about it.
Yeah. If you don't sit, you have to think about it.
Davening is not even a half an hour.
So
But there's a lot of
it's a lot to do.
Yeah.
So bottom line is, you see, the Alter Rebbe did have this notion that that you could do such a thing, that you could open up Zoyar. You don't have a minyan. You want to say Baruch Hu, so you keep saying from the Zoyar, and you're saying a piece of the Zoyar, and you say Baruch Shem Avodah L'Olam Vod. So the truth is, it's hard to learn.
Maybe the tzibur is like that and like that. They don't really think if it's an efficient. That's considered like a minion. It's not for everybody.
Even not going as far as you say, it's first of all, it's tefillah. It's something to say that at tefillah that we don't want to miss. We're looking for a trick. It's a little different
especially.
But I did notice that in Siman Reish Tezvov, the Alter Rebbe does not quote the Mogen Avram, who says that you're not allowed to, when you learn the Talmud, you're not allowed to say Hashem's name. So probably the Alter Rebbe did not hold now of the Mogen Avram that it's also to say Hashem's name when you're learning Gemara. Now, the extreme of the Yavitz who says the Chacham Tzvi told him when you learn Gemara and you say a bracha, you must say Hashem's name. I'm not sure the Alter Rebbe held to that extreme. So the Mogen Avram says you're not allowed to, and the Yavitz says you must. Whatever, maybe the Alter Rebbe is in between. You're allowed to, you don't have to.
Why
Okay,
would the Yavit say you must say Hashem's name when you're learning?
because because otherwise he says you're gonna learn to say brachas wrong.
Like Hashem.
You're gonna accidentally.
That's why for a Malamed,
Yeah.
you're allowed to say Hashem's
Right,
name.
the same thing with the kids.
Teaching, right.
Yeah, because the kids will learn it wrong. They'll take it.
Well, that's like
out.
kids, but the adults.
Exactly, it's a
The
shvakas
Gemara
order.
says it or done it at the Mishnah, but it doesn't say skip.
The Mishnah.
So it doesn't say the Gemara.
It doesn't say Baruch Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam. Just says Haroya, Makom, whatever.
I
Oimer.
know the Mishnah, but
Shekach Gemara.
the Gemara does say it.
No,
So you have to add to the Gemara words. That's even better.
So
no.
why
That's
would
over
anybody
there,
do
but
that?
other places it does say Baruch Hashem, and the other places, not over there in Brachas, like in the end of Psachim, where it does say Baruch Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam.
Also the Gemara does say it.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Oh, I thought you in Brachas it doesn't.
Yeah.
Psachim it does. Yeah.
You think it should say, yo?
When you say that Torah on Friday night, but you're Makayim in Pittsburgh, Talmud Torah,
Right.
but you're not making the tikkun of Baruch Hu. That's something else altogether.
Okay.
There are kavanos, this is a kavanot in Baruch Hu.
Right.
You're not doing that. You're doing the mitzvah Talmud Torah.
It's the best you could do. So whatever. But that's what the Alter Rebbe has in the Siddur. He brings it that if you daven be you should say,
A lot of us use Siddur.
yeah, have it. Yeah. So the bottom line is like this. If you bring it all together, what I said for this person is to say Friday night Kiddush Levanah is not so terrible, and this Friday night would have been within 18 hours after the cutoff time, and to say it from the Gemara is not so terrible. So if you could say it from your porch Friday night, so say it, because if you're going to wait for Matzah Shabbos, it'll be even more than 18 hours after the Zman. So say it. So say it. That's what I pass. If
How
you want
about Marit Ein? Somebody seems to say
it's a problem.
Say shalom aleichem to your wife and to your kids. That's it.
Okay, let's read it inside because it's very interesting. Tshuva.
No, let's just say that.
Which Gemara?
Oh, he doesn't know he's doing it.
Sanhedrin Membeis. Membeis.
Oh, thank you. Why?
Here, I have plenty of
Oh,
copies.
yeah.
Okay, turn the page. Not the Chasam Sofer of Even HaEzer, the Chasam Sofer Chelik Oyer Chaim Simen Kuf Aleph Kuf Beis. Shalom liyedide agoin amuflig Reb Shaul Lando Av Bezen Kila Kedisha Kruke. Oh, another connection to Lag BaOmer, because the Ramah was lived and is buried in Krakow. Yikrosi Giani b'yomer Shabbos Kodesh Avar Nida Mashida b'Kilos of Chodesh Kislev Nichsa Yoreich v'Yamba v'Neseinu Rabim Choyle HaKalara Sholat Sham v'Esahi u'Kvar Ida came b'Chodesh Kislev Shnash Tov Kuf Tzadik Aleph Gam came b'Shlutas HaChoyle Yahu v'Loi Tov Hoya Achirisayos Al Ken Zochelu v'Roda v'Netztar b'Harba b'Kisa Lavona. Let me explain what the question was. Funny question. Very, very funny question. He said in the year Tovkuf Tzadik Aleph. So that's Tovkuf Tzadik Aleph. What is that? 1831. So no, I'm sorry. It's 1791. So what happened was. You'll do the math and you tell me soon. 31. No, yeah, 31. Okay.
Sadi Khaled is going to be in 5 years.
Right. That's how that was. So 1731. It was in Krakow. People were sick with the machl of cholera, and what happened was that there is a thing that there's an unbelievable koyach in Kiddush Levanah, in Kabel Peshchina, and and it has a big schus. And people said it's considered if chas v'shalom you can't be mekadosh levanah, it's cloudy, it's a bad simon. And there was and people couldn't be mekadosh levanah, and a lot of people died that month. So what happened was that Rav in Krakow was worried because people were thinking. They said already there was a story in 1731 that there was cholera and they couldn't Kiddush Levanah. And many people died. And now all of a sudden, again, there was a machla of cholera and they couldn't do Kiddush Levanah. And they were very worried about it. And all of a sudden, the day after the cutoff date, there was a beautiful sky and you could see the Levanah. So basically, the Rav Shol Landau told the Kehillah that you're allowed to be Mekadosh Levanah. But
Even when it was after his mom.
even though it was after his month. Why? Because he was scared that people are going to die. Because they're going to be so nervous. The etzem inyan that when they're going to be Mekadosh Levanah, they're going to have that chizuk, and then they're going to live. But he felt bad that maybe he did the wrong psak, so he wrote to the Chasam Sofer. And the Chasam Sofer answered that you did the right psak. It was a good psak you gave. But just interesting the way. V'leil tezvav acher chatzi chof tes yud beis tashat tzag nidik tzas. Naharba noshim eschil levorach bechitz chodesh v'leil tzav yodam ki chozav v'niskas abavim yankin itztaru ha moin ma'oid al simona milza v'yodua ki arefim azire ma'oid b'zman ha'magefa b'chlal u'befrat b'choyli hanal shalo yitztaru. The doctors say that if a person, when he has this machla, if he's betzar, if he's anxious, then his life is in danger. But if he's calm, he's not anxious, then he has a bigger chance to pull through and live. V'lo yitnu alev shum daiga. Okay, mischakem rumay losay lahashkid lev adoigim lahoris lahem ki oid yesh tikva. Yesh tikva gam b'leil tezayin. Ein roy b'leil tezayin boy roy b'shchokim. Borchu kama meyes birchas achodesh. A few hundred people went out. V'samchu simcha gedoyla. V'samchu simcha gedoyla. They didn't ask. The rabbi said they did it. It's Leil Tazayin. It's Leil Tazayin b'chodesh. But the rabbi said, "Oh, now zru malas kvay teirotza isamach atzma ya mashakosu b'sharik nesa gedoyla." Shemotze b'shit echel acher nechel b'sechel Sanhedrin b'shem reperetz v'remiri shkam Tazayin b'chlal hechsher b'chitz Levanah. V'amnam b'tshuvas dvar Shmuel Messiah al zevel and his barlon atam. V'nafsha yofa b'sheilose lo dieni daiti hatziira ma oimer b'davar zeh. Apparently, some Sofer was younger than the Rav Krakow. There is a Yotzativa Boilam that who the Chasam Sofer was. So he wrote a letter to the Chasam Sofer asking. He found Taka that the Shor Knesset Gdola says that he heard that a Peretz and Midi says that you could also do it to the 16th day of the month. But the question is why? And the others say that can be true. It's not the Gemara says till 7 until 15. We'll see the Gemara in a second. So can't be. It must be a mistake. But some Sofer says no. He has a pshat. I trust the Shor Knesset Gdola that he found a manuscript that Rebbeinu Peretz Amiri said this. Says, let's think about it for a minute. Right? Rabbi Yosef Jikatilya, who said that you have to wait till after 7 days to do Kiddush Levanah. And that's what the Beis Yosef brings in Siman Tov Chavav. And when it's Efshem, in the winter, when we're scared we're going to miss Kiddush Levanah, we wait 2-3 days after the Moilot and we do it anyway, because we don't want to lose the bracha altogether because of something that Rabbi Yosef Jikatilya said, Api Nister, to wait 7 days. Because sometimes we're worried that we're not going to make it. So we jump the gun and we do it earlier.
Translated nowadays, we saw in the weather that it's going to be rainy for the next 2 weeks.
Right.
Well, but wait a second. So there is still, I know, among Hasidim, they do generally make it earlier after 3 days.
Right, when they're worried because of this, because they're worried.
Oh, it's not because
There's a
of
story
Yeah,
that
because they're worried.
I think of Vic. Said that when Kiddush Levanah, he said, "No, I have another day. Don't wait." He died that day. The next day he died. Father says, "No, do Kiddush Levanah right away. You see what happens. You don't push it off."
Wait another day. Achul lechoyre, neged shas, hele koyu boitkim. Ach, there is a tshuva that says that the lo pligi ameroin ella. The Gemara says that there's a machlokes. Till when do you do it? Until day 7 or until day 15? And that was the problem that a lot of Nigla has said. How could there be such a Chikatili say against that opinion of the Gemara? According to one opinion, the Gemara, you do it until day 7. So how could it be such a Chikatili say against what's mefurish v'shas? Man omer ad zayin, man omer ad tezvov. So according to one opinion, the Gemara that mem aleph amid beis. You do, yeah, the Gemara in Sanhedrin, that mem aleph amid beis.
The one that you quoted.
Right. So how can you so there was a trick. A different gears in the Gemara. Huh?
There's no psak how they look is.
Well, according to this gears, there's no machloikas even. Elo mar svira le Rabbi Yochanan at Cholakoi. Rabbi Yochanan, who said 7, didn't say you could say it until 7. You really have to change fadrei the gears in the Gemara. The Rabbi Yochanan said that you start saying it from 7. Shemeschem lavarach ad zayin. Umar sofer asoyv zman koi. Den lavarach ela ad tez zayin. V'shnei emes. V'loi pligi. Ela hey koi Rabbi Yochanan. Ela shom hela the tchilas lel zayin. Hu zman abrocha. Tchilas lel te zayin. Literally time mishum lepshita le ad te zayin. V'loi ad b'chlal. Sharei ach echatzi chof tes yud beis tash atzag. Ischil lis choyse v'hoylach. Veich yevorich. Val korchoch. Ad v'loi ad te zayin. Okay, hu adin ad zayin v'loi zayin b'chlal. Hello, shedvore moitmun, shekosu shom betam zayin yomim v'zel shoyna v'oid, ef shel zayin yomim below Shabbos. Oh, I don't. I want to skip this piece. I just want to go to the next one. The last 3 lines in the he says that why up Kabbalah do you have to wait 7 days because you have to just like a meal you have to have a Shabbos before you're Makabel Pnei Shechina from the new birth of the moon, just like a birth of the baby. That from the birth to the Mila needs to be 8 days because we need to have a Shabbos in between. So from the birth of the new moon and Kiddush Levanah, we wait 7 days because we need to have a Shabbos in between.
But you could do it the second day because they was
Just like with a Mila, you can't do once the Torah says 8 days, it's 8 days. It's the same thing over here. We said that there has to be a proof of 7 days that go by, and that's why he wants to say that when the Gemara is according to this, when the Gemara said 7, it means after 7. And when the Gemara said tezayin, it meant including tezayin. When the Gemara said after 7, it meant takev v'loyad b'chlal, and when it meant tezayin, it meant ye b'chlal. That's what he wants to say. Okay, muchach menei k'Rabbi Yosef Jikatilya the binyan zayin shleimim in came gedama ad zayin v'zayin b'chlal hu adin at tezayin v'tezayin b'chlal. That tezayin is one of the days that you could be mekadosh. I v'imishum de pecheses ve'lefes yesh loimer hine metchilas eschat shusa loiniris balil tam nisori shok mavur v'rosh hashana af gav de levnei marav niris achar sheish oz makol makam laharis balil l'chol boya oilam eine negeshes oida at chai shos. That's what the Gemara says in Rosh Hashanah daf chaf amid beis.
But isn't it that in the west you could see it faster?
Depends where you're standing, but l'roiva oilam it takes 18 hours. So that's what he wants to say. That's his Kiddush. That the pshat in the Gemara is that you could say it 18 hours. That's the bottom line. You could say it 18 hours after the cutoff time, because up to 18 hours after the cutoff time, it's not nikir that the moon is getting smaller. Just like when the moon is born, it takes the Rova Boy Olam 18 hours to see that the moon is in Bischachus. So in order for the Rova Boy Olam to see that the moon is in decline, it takes 18 hours. So after the cutoff moment, you have another 18 hours. So let me wrap it all up.
Who's the one that gave the algebra?
The Chasam Sofer. Chasam Sofer. So therefore, um, he has a svara also why you need to wait after 7. That you see the full ischachus. It's not enough to see a little tiny moon. That he says that you need to see the full, like the banana. The bananas gets filled in completely. That tchilas hayareach, you don't see the full banana. You have to
If
see
you
the
don't wait, you're not going to see this.
right. Okay, so let's wrap it up. Bottom line is the Chasam Sofer says that there is a girs in the Gemara that supports the Bios of Jukatilia, that you have to wait after 7 days, and because dafka then you see the full banana. And there is a svara to say, based on the Gemara, that even after the cutoff moment, you have another 18 hours. And what's the svara of that? This, never mind the girsa, tezayim b'chlal, aloyad b'chlal, whatever. When the Gemara says, the bottom line is that it takes 18 hours to see that the moon is in decline. So it's as if you're seeing the Levanah b'schad. So number one, if a person misses the time, so he could use the Chasam Sofer for another 18 hours. Number two,
We talk about the 15th.
Yeah. Yeah, and the 15th. And number two, a person for sure in that 18 hours could use the trick of the Chazam Lublin to open the Gemara in Sanhedrin Daf Mem Beis and read the Kiddush Levanah from there. Birchas Levanah from there.
You can do that after 18 hours.
According to the Chazam, probably that after also. But I don't know if it's worthwhile to do it at that point because
Wait that long.
not what are you doing at that point? There's no opinion that you're doing. You can learn Gemara. What do you want to? What are you trying to do after that? So
you really should wait. Shouldn't wait past the 15.
Hashem shouldn't wait. But the question was, if it was cloudy.
Right. Quick. This is last week.
Yeah,
It rained. It was cloudy.
sometimes you have rain.
Only the beginning of the week. Sunday,
Right.
Monday. So I
Right.
got the rain Monday.
You have to chop it in. Exactly.
People did not do it.
Right.
The beginning of the week for every
So
week.
that was the bottom line. I told him that he should do it Friday. He should do it because it's Friday night was within 18 hours. And there is even though the Chasam Sofer was only relying on this, they were Krakow and the people in Nebach were sick, and he wanted to encourage them. He didn't say lechatchila go do it, but then you mitzaref to that Chayzim Lublin said the trick that you can say from the Gemara.
But you have to have the idea that you're doing both studying Gemara and doing the bracha.
Yeah. You open up the Gemara. You can open a siddur on top of the Gemara if you have it, and you learn it. And then
The Gemara had the bracha.
the Gemara. Open Gemara, you'll see. Sanhedrin Mem Beis Amud Aleph. So if you mitzaref to some sofer the 18 hours after the Zman, plus you say that at the Gemara, I have to say it this year, this Chodesh it was Friday night. It's not before the Shulchan Aruch, not allowed to. And make sure you do it Rishus HaYochid. And it's kosher v'yosher.
Rabbi, they have a story for the Baba Saleh about Birkat Levana.
Yeah.
In Morocco, he told his Gabbai, go see if we have Levana. The Gabbai went, came back, said no Levana. He said, go one more time. He went one more time, said no Levana, the cloud there. He said, I'm going. He went outside, was cloud there, he did like this. And the cloud moved, and he said, Birkat Levana.
No.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Happened with the Rebbe also.
Yeah.
There was they came out to say Kiddush Levanah, and there was another runner, and the Rebbe was waiting, and the Gringlas, what was his first name? Rabbi Gringlas from Canada. There was that the Rebbe called him my Nekuba. He came out and said, "What's the problem? What?" So, he went the same thing and happened, and the Rebbe told him, "Lo yaseh came in we don't do that. We don't do that."
But what I do say is a very important thing. Since we're already talking about Kiddush Levanah, that one of the last sichas that Rebbe said is that was Burn Shulchan Aruch, that were Magbel Pnei Shechina. It's a very big thing, and there was a minhag to dance. And the Rebbe said he noticed that the minhag got a little shvai. And the Rebbe asked that they should be machazik the minhag. It's Burn Shulchan Aruch. It's not that the Rebbe was machadish. That the minhag that's brought in the Shulchan Aruch to dance after Kiddush Levanah, because it's to do with Kabbalah's Pnei Mashiach Tzedkenu, that we should be machadish the dancing. So from then on, Taka, if you noticed in Lubavitch, there's a big thing about dancing after the Kiddush Levanah. Yeah. It's a different Shulchan Aruch. It's not. But the Rebbe saw that it was getting a little schwarz. The Rebbe made like.
You're
To,
talking about
You watch?
Beis for the Ramah?
yeah, where is it? It's in Tov Chavov.
How many wash?
And many more.
In the middle. Can I call you back?
3,
It's the end of
4. Thank you.
No, I can't.
it's the end of Sif Beis in the Ramah.
Like
Ah,
1:30,
Ramah.
2 o'clock.
He says. ונויגן לוין בדוד מלך ישראל חי וקיים שמחוס נמשל ללבון ועושה לסחדש כנס ישראל תחזל לסדבת בביילה הקדוש ברוך הוא דוגמס הלבון מסחדש צמחמה
2 o'clock.
ולכן יוצאים שמחה ריקודים בקידוש החודש דוגמס שמחס נשוין.
Wow.
Similar to
That's unbelievable.
Wow.
If you go to Crown
Awesome.
Heights, so they get a guy with a keyboard and they make lebedik rikudim dugmas nesuyin. They because there was a campaign. If you go to Crown Heights, they make a big kiddush. They bring a guy with a keyboard and they do it the right way. Okay, Abishal Halpman. That yes, we should. You're one step ahead of us. You got your apartment already. That every one of us, amidst Hashem, that we should be. Neretz HaKodesh should be Bevis Mashiach Tzidkenu. Beis Merach Mendel and Kiryat Malachi.
Well, when move over there to Israel. Thank you, Rabbi.
I'll try.
Have a
I'll
good day.
help. We really will.